It's sitting in your pocket right now. You probably checked it 3 times since you started reading this. It buzzes, you reach for it. It glows, you reach for it. Someone posts a photo, you reach for it. But here's the thing, nobody at the Apple Store ever mentioned while they slid that gorgeous glass slab across the counter towards you. That device is costing you a house. It's not just a phone. It's not just a monthly payment. It's an entire ecosystem. Subscriptions, upgrades, accessories, data plans, screen repairs, the AirPods you've replaced twice, the 5 cases you've bought. When all of this adds up and is calculated over the course of a lifetime, it quietly eats away at such a large portion of your net worth that if you saw it on paper, it would genuinely make you sick to your stomach. My name is Volky. I spent 6 years in financial consulting watching high-income earners, people pulling 6 figures, struggle to build wealth. And almost every time I dug into their numbers, the same culprit kept showing up: small, monthly, invisible expenses that compound into catastrophe. The smartphone is the king of that category. The number that will ruin your afternoon. Let's start with what you think you're spending. Maybe $800 for the phone? $50 a month for the plan? That feels manageable. That feels like the cost of staying connected in a modern world. Here's what you're actually spending. The average American spends $1,200 to $1,400 per year on their smartphone alone before touching a single subscription. Add Spotify. Add Netflix. Add iCloud storage, because somehow you always need more iCloud storage. YouTube Premium, Apple Music, Disney+, that meditation app you opened 4 times, the productivity app you swore would change your life, the news app, the language learning app you've been almost starting for 8 months. The average American now carries 8 to 12 active app subscriptions at any given time. Most people, when asked, underestimate their total subscription spend by over 40%. The apps are designed to be forgettable. A $2.99 charge doesn't feel like anything until you add them up. Total annual smartphone ecosystem cost for the average American, somewhere between $3,200 and $4,800 per year. Let's call it $4,000 to keep the math clean. The upgrade, treadmill nobody told you about. Here's where it gets genuinely painful. The average American replaces their smartphone every 2.5 years. This isn't because their old phones break down. It's because the phone slows down, the camera isn't as good as it used to be, or their carrier offers them a trade-in deal. iPhone users are particularly loyal to this cycle when Apple releases a new model. 30 to 40 million Americans line up to trade in their perfectly functional devices. Today, the prices of flagship smartphones range from $1,000 to $1,600. Due to trade-in offers that seem generous but rarely are, and installment plans designed to hide the true cost, you're actually committing to a phone that depreciates faster than a car the moment it leaves the showroom. A 2-year-old iPhone loses roughly 40 to 50% of its value. You upgrade, you absorb that loss, and you start the clock again. Over a 40-year working life, upgrading every 2.5 years at realistic total cost. You'll replace your smartphone roughly 16 times. That's before subscriptions, before accessories, before repairs. The number that actually ruins your day. Let me do the math that the phone company absolutely does not want you to do. $4,000 per year. Invested instead, starting at age 25, at a conservative 7% average annual return. By age 65, that's $852,000. Over $850,000. From the money you're currently spending on a device that makes you feel vaguely anxious and slightly less present at dinner with your family. If you're spending an amount close to the upper limit of $4,800 in this range, you'll face an opportunity cost of over $1 million over the course of your working life. From a phone, a Spotify subscription, 3 streaming services, and an iCloud plan. Think about that. The gap between a comfortable retirement and a stressful one for millions of Americans could be explained almost entirely by a small glass rectangle and the ecosystem built around it. Why we keep buying You're Not Stupid. You know phones are expensive. So why does everyone keep upgrading? Because the industry is extraordinarily good at making you feel like you're behind. Apple's marketing strategy isn't selling you a phone. It's selling you the feeling that someone using last year's model is a little less vibrant. The most powerful iPhone ever made. A camera so advanced you won't believe your eyes. Technically, they're not wrong. But the difference between the iPhone 16 and the iPhone 17 isn't the difference between having memories and losing them. It's about 8% better low-light photography and a slightly faster chip. The carriers figured out the same trick cars did. Stop talking about total price, only talk about monthly payments. Only $35 more a month to upgrade now. That's $420 a year. That's $1,680 over 4 years. For slightly better autofocus. And then there's the subscription model, which is perhaps the most elegant money extraction mechanism ever invented. Once you're inside the ecosystem, once your photos are in iCloud, your playlists are in Apple Music, your notes are in every Apple app, leaving costs more than staying. They've made loyalty feel like convenience. The accessories industry, a special kind of genius. Nobody talks about accessories. We should talk about accessories. The average iPhone owner spends between $200 and $350 a year on accessories. Cases, screen protectors, charging cables, MagSafe wallets, AirPods. AirPods Pro, because the noise-canceling feature on the regular ones wasn't good enough. AirPods Max, because apparently there's also a $550 version that covers your entire head. The wireless audio market alone is now a $50 billion industry built almost entirely on the back of a decision Apple made in 2016 to remove a headphone jack. They created a problem, sold you the solution, and made you feel innovative for buying it. Screen repairs typically cost between $150 and $350 per incident. The screen of an average phone breaks once every 18 months. Over the course of your phone's lifespan, you'll spend more on screen repairs than most people spend on vacations. The hidden cost, nobody calculates, your attention. Here's the number the financial industry doesn't measure but probably should. The average American spends 4 hours and 37 minutes per day on their smartphone. That's across all activities. Social media, streaming, messaging, doom scrolling the news at 11 p.m. when you know you shouldn't. 4.5 hours a day adds up to 1642 hours a year. That's 68 days. Every year, you spend 68 full days staring at a screen designed by teams of behavioral scientists whose job description is, quite literally, interaction optimization. What would 68 extra days per year do for your career? Your side business, your health, your relationships, your ability to learn a skill that compounds financially over time? The phone doesn't just cost you money directly. It costs you the time you could have used to generate more money, more opportunities, more compounding value. The comparison that changes everything. Here's an exercise I want you to do right now. Pull up your bank account. Filter by subscriptions. Add them up. Then add your phone payment or the annualized cost of your last phone purchase. Then add what you spend on cases and accessories in a year. Then add your data plan. For most people, that number lands between $250 and $400 per month. Now open a compound interest calculator. Plug in $300 per month. 7% return. 35 years. $530,000. $500,000 sitting in your pocket, vibrating every time someone likes a photo you posted. What wealthy people actually do. Here's what nobody wants to admit about truly wealthy people and technology. People are keeping their old phones longer. Warren Buffett is famous for refusing to buy a smartphone until the later years of his life. He only got one after his bridge-playing friends convinced him it would be useful. Apple CEO Tim Cook has acknowledged in interviews that the goal is to make products people love, but that doesn't mean you have to buy every new model. Wealthy people evaluate technology as tools, not identities. A 3-year-old flagship phone does everything you need a phone to do. It calls people. It takes excellent photos. It runs every app you use. The decision to upgrade is almost always driven by desire, not need, and wealthy people have learned to notice the difference. They audit subscriptions quarterly. Every 3 months, they look at what they're paying for and ask whether they've used it. The average person hasn't done a subscription audit since they signed up for the thing. The practical part. What to actually do. I'm not telling you to throw your phone in a lake. You need it. It's useful. Modern life requires connectivity. But here's a framework that will save you thousands of dollars over the next 5 years with almost no reduction in quality of life. Keep your phone one upgrade cycle longer than you normally would. If you typically upgrade every 2 years, stretch it to 3. The phone you have right now almost certainly has 1 more good year in it. That decision alone, made consistently, saves you $400 to $600 per year. Do a subscription audit today. Open your bank statement. Find every recurring subscription. Cancel anything you haven't used in 30 days. Be honest with yourself about the meditation app. This usually saves people $50 to $120 per month immediately. Instead of this year's flagship model, opt for last year's model. A 12-month-old flagship phone is 30% to 40% cheaper than the current model and performs identically in 95% of use cases. Purchasing refurbished or previous generation flagship devices is one of the smartest financial decisions you can make, offering the highest return on investment. Set a phone budget and stick to it. Decide in advance what you're willing to spend on your total smartphone ecosystem per year. Write it down. Review it quarterly. The simple act of making it visible changes behavior. Automatically invest the difference. On the day that money would otherwise go to your carrier or app store, thanks to the savings you've achieved, by extending your upgrade cycle and canceling subscriptions, automatically invest it in an index fund. Make this process seamless. Set it and forget it. Let your savings grow. The mindset shift that changes everything. Here's the reframe that I want you to carry with you. Every time you're standing in the Apple Store and they show you the new model with its beautiful display and upgraded cameras and that one new feature they marketed into feeling essential, I want you to picture a different thing. Picture a number. $852,000. That's what this habit cost you. Not the phone, the habit, the upgrade cycle, the subscriptions you let run, the accessories you buy because the ecosystem made your old ones obsolete. All of it compounded over a working lifetime. The phone feels like $35 a month. The phone is actually a lifestyle that cost you a comfortable retirement. The most expensive thing in your pocket isn't your wallet. It's the device sitting next to it. If this changed how you see your finances, subscribe and share it with someone who needs to hear it. The best investment you'll ever make is understanding where your money is actually going before it's gone.